branch of military did you serve?
I was in the United States Air Force for 6.5 years, and then I joined the Kansas Air National Guard, and I worked for them for 16.5 years.
What was the job you had?
When I joined the service, I was a weapons systems officer, a navigator, one and the same, on a F-4 Phantom, and for about 10 years. And then I also had a job as the chief of safety for my military unit that I worked for in Wichita. And I also Amy and I moved to Salina, and I was operations officer of a bombing range, a 32,000 acre bombing range. And then I came back to Wichita, and I served as a navigator on the B-1 bomber.
Where were you stationed? Where were you deployed?
Okay, my first assignment during training was in California and Florida, and then I became a navigator. Then after a couple of years there, I went to Germany. I was stationed at Spangdahlem Air Base, Germany for 2.5 years. And then I came back to North Carolina, Goldsboro, North Carolina, and I stayed there for 2.5 years. And that's when I got out of the Air Force and saw an ad in the paper said, come join the Kansas Air Guard. And that was in 1984. And I stayed from 1984 to 2001 in Kansas with the Air National Guard.
How long did you serve?
So the total was from 1978 to 2001, and that was almost 23 years.
Why did you choose that branch?
Because my daddy taught me how to fly when I was a very young age, and I used to enjoy airplanes all the time, and I kind of had a passion to learn how to fly. And then when I was at college, I told him I didn't want to be a dentist, so I decided I was going to be a pilot. So I went and joined the Reserve Officer Training Corps at the University of Oklahoma to become a pilot. But that didn't work out, so I took a navigator's position in the Air Force, the next best thing. I just wanted to tell you, Elise, it was the best job I've ever had, and I have lots of friends and lifelong comrades who served with me in the military, and I really appreciate it.
What's the hardest thing about being a military spouse?
Being away from family, especially when you're raising children. I just had long periods of time, like up to 2.5 weeks with 2 little girls, and I went to my job. I was a nurse, and I would go to work, and I think that after a while, we sort of developed a better routine. I would work the 3 to 11 shift, and so therefore John would be able to pick the children up from their childcare places later in the day, and then I would come home on the 3 to 11 shift later at night. So they weren't with childcare too often. But not having family relationships are so important, and not having parents or siblings, that was probably the hardest thing for me. But I mean, we loved each other very much, and we supported one another in all the ways that we could, so it worked out okay in the end. But that was the most difficult thing, I think.
I think, Elise, in 21 years that I served in the military, Amy and I were probably apart for deployments for about 3 to 4 years at that time.
That was a good question. Thank you for asking. I never really thought about it.
Thank you for asking all the good questions about the military, and I hope we have a good Veterans Day to everybody.
Okay, we appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.